Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
The Federal Laboratory Consortium just marked 50 years of helping agencies transfer government-developed technologies into the private sector. With over 300 member labs, the FLC builds partnerships, protects intellectual property, and streamlines licensing. Here to explain how it works and what's next is newly elected chair of the FLC Executive Board, Dr. Whitney Hastings. Dr. Hastings, thank you for joining me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
For our listeners who might not be familiar, tell us about the Federal Laboratory Consortium. What is it and how does it work?
I would be happy to do so. So we are a nationwide network of federal labs, and our goal is to accelerate technology transfer to the marketplace. So what does that mean? That means that federal labs develop these amazing technologies every day, be it in energy, health, defense. We want to make sure that those amazing breakthroughs make it to the marketplace as products that help people, the public, and basically help companies and the economy and increase our economic output.
So does FLC operate as a government entity, as a nonprofit, a for-profit organization?
Actually, we are kind of an unusual quasi-government agency. We were officially created by Congress, and we were created by Congress to help accelerate lab research to the marketplace. And so it was 15 USC 3710E, and it was established all the way back in 1974.
Wow. So you're coming up on a big anniversary or just had a big anniversary?
We just had a big anniversary. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations on 50 years of the organization. Then you've just been elected as chair of the FLC. So tell us about this change in leadership for the organization and maybe what's on your agenda for your term.
Great. Yes. So we had quite an election this past year where we had about 11 new board members or changing board members, be it in their new role or additional board members. So, and these board members are essentially from multiple different agencies. So each agency has their own unique approach to how they do tech transfer. And so by bringing these voices together, we help share best practices and insights for how we can better connect with entrepreneurs, industry, and be better tech transfer professionals. So this year we have members from Department of Energy, we have folks from NASA, NIH, you name it, multiple Department of Defense board members. And so we're here to basically set the strategy for how we're going to do tech transfer, how we're going to educate the professionals, how we're going to facilitate connections with industry and promote the successes of tech transfer to both the public and to our own constituents.
As a quasi-governmental organization, do you work on a collaborative principle? Do people have to agree? Do you have authority to direct?
We basically try and provide best practices and principles. And so our job is to help the labs make sure that technologies don't stay on the shelf and make it to the marketplace. So we're there to help and to facilitate. Our goal is to make it easier for the tech transfer offices at NIH or Department of Defense or Department of Energy. So we have several ways that we can do this. As an example, we are planning a national meeting that will be held in May in Seattle, Washington. And this is where a whole lot of us come together to share these best practices through sessions and keynote speakers and a training day. So that's one way that we help educate the profession. We also have a awards program. So the awards program is a great way to highlight successes where we've taken those technologies that were at the lab and moved them into the marketplace. So that's another way that we help these labs showcase what they're doing. And then of course we're always facilitating connections with industry. So we will pick a particular tech area, say it's at the Bio International Conference or CES, and we'll have a booth where the agencies can come, bring their tech transfer professionals, meet industry counterparts, and see if we can help move these technologies forward.
I'm speaking with Dr. Whitney Hastings. She's the division head for the Office of Partnership and Technology Transfer at DOE's Fermi Lab and the new chair of the Federal Laboratory Consortium. The federal labs work in a complex regulatory and research environment. What kind of challenges does that pose for technology transfer?
I think it's just that it makes it a little bit more difficult for us to find the right partner. We've developed very early stage technologies, and so oftentimes it's maybe not ready or it's definitely not ready for commercialization. But in some ways, we need to find the right partner to collaborate with, and we have several tools to do that, such as research and development agreements, as well as other types of partnership agreements where we can work with industry, take those early stage technologies and make it to where they're ready to either be licensed or commercialized at that stage. So we've got various mechanisms to transfer things to work with us. And of course, there's always the licensing of federal technologies. And so you can easily work with our office and take one of these thousands of technologies that are available, and you can take it on through a license. So there are multiple tools that we have in our toolkit to help address those hurdles.
One of the things you mentioned in terms of the things that you want to work on is this industry partnership and connections. How can firms who might be interested in exploring a licensing agreement or some other kind of partnership get connected to FLC to find out what options are available?
Firms can connect with us in many different ways. The best way to start is to go to our website at federallabs.org, where you can start off by subscribing to our newsletter, which is called the FLC Weekly Digest. It comes out every other week. And there you'll find out where we're going to be, what kind of conferences we might be at, what's happening in the federal tech transfer space, some of the successes we've promoted. I just wrote a short letter from the chair just yesterday to talk a little bit about what's happening with me and the direction of the organization. So first I would start there, go to our website, subscribe to our newsletter. And then if you're looking for technologies and collaboration opportunities, we do have a portal called FLC Business. And this houses basically the 10,000 plus technologies that are available for licensing. We also list all available federal laboratory facilities. So if you happen to be in the greater Chicago area, like me, you could find out that Fermi Lab or Argonne National Laboratories are just next door. And there may be something there that your company or your scientist or researcher might be able to connect with one of these labs and use their facilities and expertise and form collaborations and partnerships. So we've got both technologies available as well as expertise and technical resources.
When you think about the way that FLC operates, are there some best practices there that you think other areas of the federal government or other groups that are focused on innovation might benefit from?
I think really just awareness, specifically what we do, that the idea that there are lots of innovative technologies. You may have an invention and not know about that you have an invention, but to talk to your tech transfer office and talk to the folks at FLC that, hey, we take technologies and innovations and we bring them to the marketplace. And so to do that, there are various different ways to bring things to the marketplace, be it patenting technology, maybe making something available as a research tool or freely available as software. A lot of the scientists are very focused on whatever is mission critical for them at the time. And so making sure that they're aware that we don't want taxpayer dollars to go unused for the public, that we want to take these taxpayer dollars that are supporting research and take those and then move them into things that the public can use, be it through data, materials, new intellectual property that could be licensed and help start a small business and improve the economy.
I've been speaking with Dr. Whitney Hastings. She's division head for the Office of Partnership and Technology Transfer at the Department of Energy's Fermi Lab and the recently elected chair of the Federal Laboratory Consortium. Dr. Hastings, thanks so much for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you.
We'll post this interview at federalnewsnetwork.com/Federal Drive. Subscribe to the Federal Drive wherever you get your podcasts.